Before you touch your phone tomorrow morning, before you check your balance, before fear gets the first word, give me just a few seconds and listen closely, because this may be the moment that breaks the cycle you have been living in for years. If you are tired of borrowing, tired of feeling small, tired of sending that painful message asking for help one more time, then stay here. Do not skip this. What you do in the first moments after waking up can quietly shape the rest of your day, your choices, your confidence, and even the way you handle money. And no, this is not about some long ritual, and it is not about pretending problems are not real. It is about taking back the first minute of your morning and using it to plant a different truth inside your mind and spirit. What if the same mouth that has spoken panic, delay, shame, and lack can begin to speak peace, courage, wisdom, and provision? What if the next season of your life starts not with a loan, not with another apology, but with a decision? Stay with me, because in the next few moments, I am going to give you a stronger version of a simple practice that can help you walk away from the habit of lack and step into a life with more dignity, more clarity, and a deeper sense that you are not abandoned. Think for a moment about the last time you had to ask someone for money. You may remember the heavy feeling in your chest, the pause before you typed the first word, the way you wrote the message, erased it, rewrote it, and tried to make it sound normal when it was breaking something inside you. You tried not to sound desperate. You tried not to sound ashamed, but deep down, you felt it. That sinking feeling, that silent question, how did I get here again? If you know that feeling, then hear this clearly. You are not weak because you struggled. You are not worthless because you needed help. But if this pattern has repeated again and again, then something deeper has been happening beneath the surface. Borrowing is never only about money. It slowly becomes a pattern in the mind. It teaches the heart to expect rescue from outside instead of strength from within and guidance from above. And after enough repetition, that pattern starts speaking before you do. It tells you that you are always behind. It tells you that you are always one step away from panic. It tells you that someone else must save you. That is the cycle we are confronting here. Not just empty pockets, but an exhausted identity. And the good news is this: what was learned can be unlearned, what was repeated can be replaced, and what felt permanent can begin to break the moment you stop feeding it with the same fear every morning. Here is what many people miss: the real battle does not begin when the bill arrives. It begins much earlier, in those first quiet moments after you wake up, before the noise, before the messages, before the pressure of the day rushes in. In that fragile window, your mind is open in a special way. It is not fully locked into yesterday's fears. It is not yet put on the old costume of worry. It is soft, receptive, listening. And most people waste that moment by reaching for their phone. They let bad news, unpaid bills, missed calls, social media, and comparison speak first. So fear enters early, stress takes the front seat, and the rest of the day follows that direction. But imagine flipping that pattern. Imagine opening your eyes and before touching anything else, sitting up and speaking words of life over your mind, your work, your hands, and your future. Not for 30 minutes, not for some dramatic performance, just one focused minute. Just a small, deliberate act that says, fear will not lead me today. That shift may sound simple, but simple does not mean weak. Water is simple, yet it can carve through stone. A seed is simple, yet it can split the ground. And a daily word spoken with faith and consistency can slowly carve a new path through a mind that has been trained by lack for years. Do not underestimate what repeated truth can do. Now, let me be clear, because I do not want you to misunderstand this. This is not sitting still and hoping money falls from the sky. This is not denying your bills. This is not fantasy. This is a reset, a real one. When your inner voice changes, your decisions begin to change. When your decisions change, your habits begin to change. When your habits change, your outcomes begin to change. You notice things you used to miss. You move with more calm. You speak with more steadiness. You stop making every choice from panic. That alone can save you from many costly mistakes. And beyond that, something powerful happens when you stop waking up under a cloud of helplessness. Ideas start coming with more clarity. You remember people you need to call. You handle work with more focus. You show up better in conversations. You become easier to trust, easier to work with, easier to recommend, because desperation is no longer leaking out of every word. Stay with me here, because this next part matters. The goal is not just more money. The goal is freedom from the identity of always being the one in need. The goal is to stand up inside yourself again. The goal is to stop living as if tomorrow must repeat yesterday. And yes, the prayer matters, but so does the posture. So does the consistency. So does the decision that from this point forward, your first response to pressure will not be panic. So, tomorrow morning, before you check anything, before you speak to anyone, before you give your attention to the world, say these words slowly and with intention. Today, I receive divine wisdom for every financial decision I make. Today, my hands are blessed, my path is opening, and I will not live in fear. Today, provision flows to me, through me, and I walk in peace, dignity, and enough. Say it again if you need to. Say it sitting on the edge of your bed. Say it standing by the window. Say it with sleepy eyes if you must, but say it before the world tells you who you are. These words are not magic by themselves. Their strength is in repetition, belief, and timing. They are replacing an old script. They are interrupting the old current. They are teaching your inner life a new direction. And if those exact words do not fully fit you, keep the heartbeat the same. Keep the message strong. Speak wisdom instead of confusion. Speak provision instead of lack. Speak dignity instead of shame. Speak calm instead of panic. And when you do not rush. Give the words a second to land. Let them settle. Let them echo. Let your own voice become evidence that something new has begun. Because one of the most powerful things a person can hear is their own mouth speaking a better future with conviction. The reason this matters so much is that identity shapes behavior more than pressure does. If you wake up every day thinking, I am behind, I am stuck, I am the one who never has enough, then your mind starts proving that story all day long. It filters life through lack. It highlights every problem. It magnifies every closed door. It keeps you braced for embarrassment. But if you wake up and begin saying, I am guided, I am not abandoned, I can handle what is in front of me, I am learning to live with wisdom and provision, then a different internal system starts working. You become more alert to solutions. You become less ruled by impulse. You become slower to react in fear. Even your body responds differently. Your breathing changes. Your tone changes. Your choices become less chaotic. Do not miss this. Many people are not only suffering from low money, they are suffering from a repeated message inside that says they are powerless. And that message shapes the day before the day has even begun. That is why the first minute matters. It is a seed minute. It looks small, but it carries a whole direction inside it. And if you guard that minute long enough, what once felt like a tiny practice starts becoming a new normal. One day turns into seven. Seven turns into 21. 21 turns into 40. And somewhere in that journey, you stop sounding like a person waiting to be rescued and start sounding like a person learning how to stand. Let me say something honest that may feel uncomfortable, but it can set you free. Every time borrowing becomes your first answer, a message is quietly written inside you. Not just, I need help today, but I cannot carry my life. And if that message gets repeated too often, it stops feeling like a moment and starts feeling like your identity. That is why this cycle can become so painful. It is not only the debt, it is the shrinking, it is avoiding people, it is walking with tension, it is hearing your phone and wondering who wants what. It is the hidden weight of owing. And over time, that weight can steal more than money. It can steal confidence, creativity, peace, and the courage to dream bigger. But the cycle can be interrupted, not by pretending you never made mistakes, not by acting proud, not by refusing wise help when truly needed, but by refusing to make helplessness your permanent language. There is a difference between receiving help in a hard season and building your life around the expectation of rescue. One is humility, the other becomes bondage. So if you are listening right now and something inside you is saying, I do not want to live like this anymore, then listen to that voice. That is not just emotion. That may be the beginning of your turning point. And what comes next is important because change does not grow in vague desire. It grows in daily agreement. This is why commitment matters. Do not try this for 2 mornings and walk away. Do not treat this like a quick test. Old patterns were not built in a weekend, and they will not disappear in one dramatic moment. They weaken through repetition. They fade when they stop being fed. So give this practice room to work. Choose a clear number: 7 days if you need a beginning, 21 days if you want momentum, 40 days if you are serious about real change. Mark it down. Put a note beside your bed. Set your phone wallpaper if needed. Tape the prayer to your mirror. Do whatever helps you protect that first minute, because the world will try to steal it. Notifications will pull on you. Anxiety will whisper, just check now. Habit will try to drag you back. But that first minute belongs to your future. Guard it. And while you are doing this, begin adding wise action to your prayer. Track your spending honestly. Cut one careless expense. Follow up on one opportunity you kept delaying. Finish one task that can bring value. Reach out with confidence, not panic. Ask for work before asking for rescue. Learn before quitting. Build before begging. Prayer and action are not enemies, they belong together. One steadies your spirit, the other moves your feet. And when both start working together, even small steps can open surprising doors. You do not need to become a different person overnight. You just need to stop agreeing with the version of you that has been living under fear. Many people who finally break free do not do it because one giant miracle drops into their lap. Often it happens through smaller shifts that grow stronger with time. An old client calls back, a delayed payment arrives, a better idea appears, a side skill becomes useful. A conversation turns into an opening. A wasteful habit gets exposed and removed. A new confidence makes you ask better questions. Better questions lead to better decisions. Better decisions lead to better outcomes. This is how change often looks in real life. Not always flashy, but real, sustainable, solid. And when it starts, it feels almost strange because your old mind keeps waiting for disaster. Yet little by little, you notice you are handling pressure differently. You are not collapsing as fast. You are not reaching for the same old solution. You are not announcing defeat before the day has started. And this is where many people quit too early. They want instant proof. They want one perfect sign. But transformation usually grows quietly before it becomes obvious. A tree does not become strong the day it breaks the ground. It becomes strong because it keeps growing when no one is clapping. So, if the first week feels awkward, keep going. If the words feel unfamiliar, keep going. If you do not feel a dramatic rush, keep going. You are not performing for emotion. You are training a new pattern, and patterns built in truth become powerful with time. Do not stop just because it is simple, just because there is also something deeply important about dignity in all of this. Borrowing over and over can do more than hurt your wallet. It can bend your posture inward. It can make you feel smaller than you are. It can make every relationship feel uneven. You start wondering how people see you. You start carrying silent shame into normal conversations. You start losing your natural boldness. But provision is not only about cash, it is also about standing upright again. It is about looking at life without that constant inner apology. It is about remembering that you were not made to live with your heart chained to panic. You were made to think clearly, work faithfully, give honestly, and live with peace. So when you speak your morning prayer, do not mumble it like a person asking permission to exist. Speak it like someone reclaiming ground. Speak it with humility, yes, but also with firmness. You are not cursing your life. You are blessing it. You are not denying hardship. You are declaring that hardship will not define you forever. You are not claiming to control everything. You are choosing not to surrender your mind to fear. And that matters more than many people realize, because a person who regains inner dignity becomes harder to trap, harder to manipulate, harder to keep small. And when dignity returns, discipline often follows. Then discipline creates stability. Then stability creates breathing room. And breathing room creates space for wiser, calmer, stronger living. So when tomorrow comes, do not let the old script speak first. Do not let the first voice be anxiety. Do not let the first feeling be defeat. Rise, even if slowly. Sit up, breathe once, deeply. Put your feet on the floor as if you are stepping into a new agreement. Then say your words, say them again if needed. And after you pray, take one practical step in the same direction. Send the email, review the budget, cancel the waste, offer the service, make the call, finish the work. Clean the mess, face the number, but face it with a different spirit. This is how you build a new road. One prayer, one action, one morning at a time. And if the old fear comes back later in the day, do not panic about that either. Just return to the truth, return to the words, return to the path. Growth is not the absence of struggle. Growth is refusing to hand the steering wheel back to the same old fear every time it knocks. If you have been waiting for a sign to begin again, let this be it. If you have been waiting for the perfect mood, do not wait. Start tired if you must. Start shaky if you must. Start with a whisper if you must. But start, because a delayed beginning keeps feeding the old cycle, and a small beginning can become a powerful turning point faster than you think. And listen carefully, because this may be the part you need most. You are not disqualified because you have made bad choices. You are not finished because you are behind. You are not trapped because the pattern has lasted a long time. A long pattern is not the same thing as a permanent identity. The story can change. The inner voice can change. The morning can change. And when the morning changes, life begins to change from the inside out. So take this seriously. Protect your first minute. Speak life over your mind and your money. Refuse the language of shame. Refuse the reflex of defeat. Refuse the belief that you will always be the one asking, always be the one sinking, always be the one barely making it. That is not the only future available to you. A steadier future is possible. A wiser future is possible. A more peaceful future is possible. And it begins in a way that almost feels too simple, which is why many people overlook it, but not you. Not anymore. Tomorrow morning, before the world gets your attention, give the first minute back to truth, back to faith, back to peace, back to provision. And if you keep doing that day after day with sincerity and action, there will come a moment when you realize something has shifted. The panic is not leading, the shame is not ruling, the old message is losing its grip. And you are no longer waking up as a prisoner of lack, but as a person learning at last how to walk in freedom.